August starts in less than a week, you guys. And if you've been saying, I need a vacation, this might be your sign to make the most out of the second half of 2026. So we have travel editor Marika Flatt of Texas Lifestyle Magazine. She is here with some suggestions to add to your travel bucket list. Good morning.
Good morning, Erin.
I love this conversation. Let's talk vacation and relaxation.
Yes, fun topic.
What criteria went into you choosing these destinations that are perfect for the second half of 2026?
Yeah, so we wanted to give a wide range of different types of trips and different price points as well. So something from a more economical trip to a splurge. Yes.
I'm excited. Okay,
Yes.
so let's start with a road trip because I feel like a road trip is very economical.
Yes.
And it has a coastal vibe that goes
Yes.
along with it. It could be a short or a long weekend. Tell me more.
So Corpus Christi is a great trip to think about, especially in the fall. There's a lot going on. So Gulf Coast capital is what they like to call themselves. And we love it that it's one of the most affordable spots on the Texas coastline. So you can find accommodations ranging from all types of price points. There are new hotels that just opened. There's new bars and restaurants.
Nice.
There's one called the Sandbox that just opened at North Padre. And Erin, one of the things I have recently learned about Corpus is that it is known as kind of a wind sports capital. So everything from windsurfing to actual surfing to kiteboarding, all of those are great in Corpus because they have very steady climate conditions, coastal conditions on the water. So if you're a beginner or you're intermediate, it's a great place to get out there and either learn or just play around.
You know what? I've never thought I'm gonna go to Corpus Christi and surf. Like, that has never crossed my mind. So the fact that you just said that's possible, like people are booking California, Florida to be able to do that. And it's right up the street.
That's right.
That is awesome. Okay, and I love anything coastal. I'm from a coastal city originally. And so that sounds like maybe, heck, my birthday is next month. I might have to do that myself. But what about the fall music festivals? I'm excited for fall. The temperatures were starting to come down. Tell me more.
We just heard these temps. So in October, they have the Texas Jazz Festival there in Corpus Christi, and it is Texas's largest free jazz festival. And they also have one for Dia de los Muertos coming up in October. So there's a lot going on in Corpus.
I love this. Okay, what about an island trip without a passport?
Right. So you know you have those friends who tell you, oh, I don't have a passport.
Or they let it expire.
Right. Right. So Livongo Resort is off the coast of St. Thomas. St. Thomas is part of the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so you can fly into St. Thomas, take a short ferry to Livongo. This resort practically takes up this entire little tiny island. And what I love about it, Erin, is that it is a feeling of luxury, but it's also super laid back.
Really?
I mean, the fanciest thing you need to pack is just a sundress for dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time you talk and give a new idea, I'm like, maybe I'll do that next month. This looks stunning. My goodness.
So their cabins have views of the channel out that goes between the sea and another island. And it's got the BVI lookout point. That's a great spot for sunrise. And, you know, like I said, you've got a very relaxed, laid-back vibe. They have a beach club where you can come for the day. So St. John, you can actually see from Livongo and take a little ferry over to St. John for their little honeymoon beach over there. Go visit Kenny Chesney because his house is on St. John.
Girl, you were speaking my language. All you had to say was beach club, and I was already there.
It's such a nice, fun place, but
that is awesome.
A treat too.
Okay, so I already mentioned, well, my birthday, but everybody else's birthday, summer birthday, if you got one coming up, but milestone anniversaries. There's all sorts of things going on. Even like a mother-daughter trip would be fun as well. What's a good destination for that?
Okay, so Australia is having a moment right now. The exchange rate is really, really good for us here in America to go over to Australia. And Eastern Australia has a lot to showcase. So there's a lot of flights from DFW that go straight over to Brisbane, for instance, or Sydney. And just up from Brisbane, there is the world's largest sand island.
Wow.
So again, this is an economical spot. It's called Gari. The K is silent. And it used to be called Fraser Island to the locals. And Gari has Kingfisher Bay Resort, which is big on ecotourism. And Erin, I was very surprised that this location is an economical location. And of course, the exchange rate is great. And then also Brisbane has a lot to offer if you want the city feel. It's one of the top 3 cities in Australia. And just a short flight is Sydney down on the coastline. You know, Australia is about the size of the United States.
Yeah.
So you can't see it all in one trip. But if you stay along the eastern coast, they've got what they call the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast. There's a little town that locals love called Byron Bay.
Ooh.
And people like to go there. Now, keep in mind, this is their winter.
Correct.
Yes. So,
but it's not as cold as you think over there.
It is
genuinely.
not.
I went last August, 2 Augusts ago.
Yeah.
But it is really a stellar time to go
It
during
is.
their winter. And they don't stop surfing and doing all the outdoor activities just because it's winter over there. I mean, it's literally 60 degrees and they're in Speedos.
Right, right. And think
Surfing.
about our winter here in Texas. You know, we could have a day that's high 70s, low 80s. It's very similar over there for their winter.
It is. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you go over there, I know you will need an ETA form. You
Yes.
have to fill that out before you go.
Yes.
How do people find it? How do they get a hold of it so they can have a smooth travel experience?
This is a really good trip tip.
Yeah.
Because we didn't realize it until the night before we left to go to Australia. So if you go to your check-in instructions
before? I
the
just
night
heard you say
before,
that.
yes, and I'm a planner, Erin, so this puts my stress level pretty high.
I'm sure.
Yes. So ETA is an electronic travel authorization, and do it before the night before if you can. Also, there's other countries that need these ETA forms filled out. And if you do it a couple of days before, you're fine. They'll approve you within minutes, honestly.
Very good. Okay.
So New Zealand is another one that needs an ETA.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
And New Zealand's great too, and it's not actually far from Australia
It's
at
not.
all. So
it's not.
That's a really
you
good trip.
can either take a nonstop from DFW straight into Auckland, which is the Northern Island, or you can bounce around, you know, if you were coming from Australia. But Auckland has a lot to offer. We stayed at a great spot called the QT in Auckland and took a ferry over to where the locals told us to go,
Nice.
Waiheke Island. It sounds like Waikiki in Hawaii, but it's Waiheke. And it's a super laid back, really coastal vibe over there. You know, people are walking around in flip-flops even in the winter.
There you go. And that is the beauty of that region in general. These are really good tips indeed. Tell us where we can find you so
Yes.
that we can maybe have some more ideas even as the year progresses.
Absolutely. Texas Lifestyle Mag is our digital magazine. There's a new article up every day of the week, Monday through Friday. We're on all the socials at Texas Lifestyle Mag.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Absolutely.